Is she
I'm
there?
here.
Okay, Sama, let's start.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone, those who are joining us on Zoom and those who will be joining us from the Facebook Live. This is the first session of our series, Inspiring Women. And today our speaker is Insha Rasool. Insha Rasool is a co-member of JKS. She completed her MS in molecular cell signaling at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and then later shifted to Postech, South Korea, where she worked as a research scholar for 3 years. Insha Rasool has been CEO of HomeGreens. It is an organic farm based in Badgam, Kashmir, for almost 3 years now. She has pioneered unique and sustainable online marketing processes for HomeGreens organic agricultural products, along with adaptable services such as succession cropping for exotic and Kashmir heirloom vegetables, community supported agriculture, and high intensity intercropping. She is of the opinion that non judicious use of agricultural products, such as synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, are behind the ongoing hidden pandemic in Kashmir, such dreadful cancers, metabolic syndromes, hormonal imbalances. She strongly suggests that the implementation of safe agricultural practices, educating local farmers and children about the bad repercussions of fraudulent products, and providing clean food to community may rescue us from this sad state. Insha already has recruited plant biologists with PhDs whose work is to formulate the safe biofertilizers and biopesticides to be used in the farm and later on to be launched in market. She strongly believes in youth empowerment and also self-sustenance, and therefore she intends to launch an incubation center as a home greens vertical that will launch internship programs for those who want to initiate an organic farm in Valley. She'll be hosted and interviewed by Dr. Zahida Kamari, who is a co-member and chair of communications JKS. Dr. Zahida did her MS and PhD from Jamia Hamdard and a postdoc from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, Harvard Medical School, USA. She has also served as a research scientist for College of Medicine, Ohio, and she's presently working as a regulatory compliance officer for the Ohio State University. Before starting the series, before the episode starts, we would like to take a minute and remember Dr. Bilkis Bhatt. She was a beloved member of JKS and she left us too soon. Her work post August 5 was exemplary and she was an example for women in Kashmir. We hope that her family, while they are dealing with these irreparable loss, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them sabr and the deceased at highest place in Jannat. So let's start this series. Dr. Zahida, over to you.
Thank you so much, Saima, for your kind words. And I'm very grateful to you all for joining this session. This series will be a platform for the entrepreneurs in Kashmir, mainly females, who are doing well in their whatever initiatives they have taken, and we want to share their stories, their struggles, and whatever challenges they had during this turmoil in the valley, especially. Uh, as we all know, that women have been the backbone of every society, and Kashmir is not far behind. And we have so many examples from our past that they have influenced our thinking. They have given us hope that we can dream big and be successful. So this program will be dedicated to such females who have taken a different path uh, and maybe thinking out of the box that they can be successful in these tough times. As we know that in Kashmir, we don't have indigenous industries or job opportunities for the youth, especially. So during recent times, we have seen that women have taken up different initiatives, like they have opened boutiques, cafes, different startup companies, and they have been successful in all of these initiatives. So not only for themselves, but they have given employment opportunities for the youth as well. So keeping that thing in mind, we have our first guest, Insha Rasool, who has taken a very bold initiative in organic farming. So we will be listening to her challenges, her goals, how she has achieved all this. But keeping in mind that if we see that our own vegetables and our fruits, Kashmir grown fruits were really, they had a different flavor and a different taste if we see like 10 years back. But right now, if we are seeing that the taste is not there, when we come outside Kashmir, so we can feel the difference. But now we are seeing the same thing happening there. So there is not much difference between the taste, but still, I think we have conventional farming there. But I think we can have a hybrid system because as we know that organic farming needs a large startup. So I think I miss that flavor, that or taste of our own vegetables and fruits out there. So today we will be talking about all these issues with Insha Rasool. So Insha, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for having me here. Yeah.
So let's start. Like this is the most common question being asked. So what inspired you to take this initiative, and that too in the valley?
Yeah, I get asked it quite a lot of times. Yeah, actually, I was in South Korea after IAC from Bangalore. I shifted to South Korea. And in today's time, anybody does anything because they feel very, very, very close about that particular idea. They think that if we do not do anything about this problem, maybe the world is going to come to an end because of that very problem. Like that is how even the professors pitch on their goals. Okay, look, this is our problem in the society, and probably I'm asking for a grant because if we don't do anything about it right now, then maybe we are going to see the end of the world. So likewise, when I was in South Korea, a friend of mine, she was a plant biologist, Ankita, my name Ankita. So whenever we used to sit down over a coffee or even on the lunches, we used to meet regularly, like for an hour or so every day. And every day our talk was only about the kind of the shift the farming has taken up in India overall. And there used to be like a lot of stories come up then in 2016, 2000, no, not in 2016, 17 and 18, that how organic farming is changing. Then the vertical setups had come up and they were being pitched out to everybody around. Okay, see, there is something where you can grow vertically, then the hydroponics. And when I saw this so much of information rush, I really got inspired. But I felt that like for us, for a Kashmiri, if anybody in India has a right to grow food, it should be a Kashmiri, because we have the wealth, we have the land, we have got the best solution to it. We have got the best soils. We don't need to amend our soils so much, right? So we had this land, we have this like huge land back at home here in Kashmir, but nothing was being done about it because, like everybody's story, nobody is indulging into farming from our generation because our parents also decided, okay, they want to do something else. They were busy in their own stuff. So this thing caught up my attention, and dheere kind of gradually grew upon me. I was like, I even spoke to my husband Irfan. I pitched this idea to him once. I was like, I don't think that, okay, I'm doing good in research, but I don't think I will be as good as a research scholar as I would be if I have my own company based on agriculture in Kashmir. And this was a crazy idea then, right? And he says, I just pitched an idea, but he is a kind of a person who wouldn't just neglect any idea. He's like, okay, yeah, let's talk about it. And it was surprising to me because nobody would be so welcoming, right? But afterwards, we had like very strong discussions, and I spoke to my friends and family, and they were not completely supportive of this idea because given the issues are associated with it. But alhamdulillah, eventually we came up to the consensus. I said, okay, so look, there are 4 more years. I have to invest 4 years and I will have PhD. I will have a doctor in front of my name, and probably I will have good research articles out there. But if I invest similar amount of energy and similar kind of ideas back at my home, I will have a company in my name, and a company that will have something to give tomorrow to the people. I mean, it can become an incubation center for a lot many smaller companies tomorrow. So I kind of understood both of those ideas, and both of us, like Irfan and I, we both wanted, like, okay, we know what we have to do. We have to shift back, and Insha is going to start organic farming. And yeah, that is how it happened. I came back with my 3 or 2.5 year old son back then, and I just came and we started it off. And that is the time we started, and we have never stopped until today. So alhamdulillah, it has been a gradual progress, but I am really happy with it.
Yes, no, I have association with you, long association, and I can see your zest towards this organic farming since the beginning. But I know you had a lot of challenges, especially last year when there was unexpected snow also, and you
Yeah.
had a heavy loss there. So can you go through like what actually is organic farming? Because it's a new idea in Kashmir. It's not like new idea because we were in organic farming from the beginning, but then because of some conditions or because of the economic benefits that we have once we shift from organic farming. So can you just let us know a little bit about organic farming and what are your challenges in Kashmir, especially given the conditions is one thing, and then the weather conditions also, which hamper so many things. Like in winters, you don't have electricity, and the temperature dips down so much. So how do you sustain that?
Actually, organic farming, the word was kind of put up by USDA back in, I think, 2008 or 2010, somewhere in those years. And according to the proper definition, says that a person has to grow food without the intervention of any chemical fertilizers or even the chemical pesticides. Fine. So it is, but I feel it's just a fancy way of saying that you have to grow food naturally. Fine. So it's not a new concept for us, but it is a new concept for our generation. But earlier times, when it was like my grandmom's time, or even their forefathers, they used to grow food purely based on what is out there in the nature. They would use even for the pests, sometimes they would just pull the whole plant out and burn it off, and just to protect the rest of the crops, instead of using a lot of chemical pesticides on it. But now it has changed quite a lot, and I was just looking into it that a person who has not even qualified for the 10th class would know how much of these chemical pesticides should be applied, and in what doses, and how many times in a year on the simple crops like collard greens, which is like hak munje. So even on those very like highly abusive chemicals are applied, even on those simplistic vegetables. So but how do I say, the organic says that you just have to approach give a proper holistic approach of growing food. You just have to bring in diversity. Instead of growing only one plant, only one type of crop, you just bring in diversity, grow 4 5 crops together, and they are going to deter the pests altogether. Like there is something called the companion crop. A companion is going to kind of benefit you. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship in between plants. And also there are plants that are going to throw out the chemicals, which are going to not allow the pests to even sit on the plant of your choice. So organic is typically that kind of farming. But I think for us Kashmiris, it's pretty easier because we have been doing that for a very long time.
Right.
But
So,
now how difficult it is. It was not difficult back in like a decade back, but I have to tell you this, it is very difficult now. The reason being that a lot of pests have come in today in Kashmir that were not there earlier time point. Now because we have applied so much of pesticide out there in every sort of a vegetable, that that it has multiplied the number of pests that attack that particular plant. So it adds up a lot of pressure on us, because there aren't much organic pesticides available out there, honestly speaking. So that is why you would have seen that we lately were looking for a PhD student, not a student, like any research scholar who has an experience in plant biology, to curate, to design a particular organic pesticide for us. And that is in progress, because we have taken up a postdoctorate in plant sciences, and we are together in our farm. We are creating that kind of a system here, that we will have the organic fertilizers and the pesticides available with us. But if you go out there in the market, nothing is available. And that is why for a regular farmer in Kashmir to grow crops commercially, that to organic, it is very hard, because they get pests like every now and then they will have the pest infiltration. And you do not have anything. They will worry is like a person, a farmer is here like in 50 years of age. They have a family to look after, right? They're not going to worry whether you are going to give them pure food. They are going to say, no, listen, I am going to earn 20 rupees by the end of the crop. I'm going to earn 20 rupees because I need those 20 rupees. So he wouldn't worry about that. So there comes another problem, that the farmers need to be educated right now. They need to know that they are actually growing a faulty product, which is kind of messing up with the health dynamics that are in Kashmir right now. Yeah, so it was easy, but now it's very difficult.
yes, so organic fertilizers is a big issue, and I think you can start a research program on that, inshallah, soon. So there is a myth, or is it reality, that organic products are expensive? Like in here, the organic products are really expensive. But what about in Kashmir? So who are your clients basically?
Hmm. So, in case of the organic produce, the way organic farming works in developed countries is different than it works in developing countries. So, in case of developing countries, even like I would have to say this, certified organic products are being sold out there in the developed countries like USA, UK, and a lot of other places out of India, right? But now a lot of discussions are coming back where they are targeting this particular organic production also on a different front. I will explain to you about this, that why are they being targeted, because they're commercially growing organic food, but the how do I say, the output, the amount of output or the vegetable output from an organic farm versus a conventional farm is almost 50% less. So in order to produce commercially, they have to involve more land Fine. So that increases the carbon footprint out there, and that causes the climate issues. So now they are being targeted on that front. But even they say that Indians, the kind of organic farming they do in India is different, because we do not grow only one food throughout in acres and acres of land. Instead, what we do, what I am trying to do in my farm is, we are not, for example, if I have 10 canals of land, I'm not going
Mhm.
to invest all 10 canals of land only for, let us say, onions. What I'm going to do is I divide them. Okay, I've got 10. Let me divide it into 10 equal parts. And in one part, I'm going to grow something else. And then even within that one part, I will have cycles going around. So that it brings in the diversity. That was the ancient organic farming method. And that is something that they do not do in the United States. They do not do in the developed countries. And that is why there you see the price differences.
Price difference,
Yes.
correct, yeah.
And however, but it all lies on the fact that the production from the conventional versus the organic one is very different. In the conventional one, we are forcing the plant through a lot of chemicals that you need to produce to the maximum capacity. Whatever is your capacity, you give it to me in one season, and that is all. But in case of organic farming, you might get 50% of that, you might get 70% of that production. And therefore, in order to come up with the input costs, it sometimes gets expensive. Yeah.
Usually, who are your clients in Kashmir? I have seen your clients outside also, but what about in Kashmir?
In
So
Kashmir,
is
our
like is
clients
it
are
feasible? Is it feasible for a businesswoman to survive by
yeah,
having customers only in Kashmir, because it will add up to the cost of shipping and packaging and everything if you have clients outside Kashmir. But since we are talking about the benefits to the society,
yeah,
so
yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly,
how are you
exactly,
coping with that? Yeah, we have
exactly.
to cater to the.
I have to tell you this. This day I started working, I had clients coming in from places. Like right now I'm stationed in Sheikhpura, which is in Badgam. It is early Badgam, like Humhama, and then when you go move up to the Badgam, it's a place somewhere around there. I had this client come up from Darbag. Darbag is where Nishat, Harvan side area. From there, she came up with the entire family. She came to visit us. She took a lot of saplings. She was so excited to see that, okay, somebody is doing organic farming. Let me drive there. So I'll tell you something about this, that the kind of clientele I have. Look, majority of my clientele are the people who are suffering with terrible diseases. I have to tell you this. Like there somebody is cancer survivor. Another person has irritable bowel syndrome. Another person, their child has been diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, and she does not rely on anything else from outside. I have to make things for her. Like, even if it is like dead winter right now, I have been able to give her the vegetables until like maybe 2 or 3 weeks back. I was able to supply to her for the entire year, and it's just the gap of this month. And you know, I mean, how difficult it is to grow things in winter, right? But because they are so much dependent on me, they clearly tell me, Insha, see, if you're not going to do it, then I will be like left dry out in the air. What will I do? So there are people who really desperately need our help right now, because they are downtrodden by health. Like in their health, they're not doing so well. And that is why and second part is that they know it, that the food, contaminated food, is the cause of their bad health. So awareness is already there. Awareness has already gotten out there in at least in Srinagar, I would have to say this. They know what it is, what is causing like so much cancers are up there. Bowel syndromes are out there. Like we have hormonal imbalances in women. They know it, that it is because of this. And that is why whenever I come up with a product or any kind of a produce, it is mostly pre-booked. I would have to say this. It is
Yes.
usually pre-booked. So I have never faced, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, I have never faced so far any sort of an issue from that front. So from, I would say, like customer perspective, I have been lucky in that front.
Yeah, so you talked about diseases. So if we can have some slides up
Yeah, exactly.
about the research which has been going on in Kashmir, especially because we have seen increase in so many diseases, so many cancers are coming up, and metabolic syndromes. So there have been, I think those are the last slides.
Yes, those would be
Yeah, the
towards
last slides.
like after
So
this. Yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
like the research community is taking up these issues and doing some research. So can you tell us about this? Like there are like few papers from Kashmir which say that there are
Yeah, yeah.
this pesticides
This
is
is
linked to health.
Yeah, yes, yes. Actually, this is the scariest part. If you look up the information is out there. I don't know how many people go back to the research articles here in Kashmir, but so much information is out there. Like some of the research articles over here say that brain cancer and pesticide related relationship in orchard farmers of Kashmir. So what they have done, I'll try to put it in the simplistic way here. Every sort of a chemical pesticide that is being applied here and is being sold out like days and nights all together, it has been linked with some sort of a cancer. Maybe it is may it be a brain cancer, may it be a prostate cancer, may it be any, just pick up any sort of a cancer, you will see the relationship being established. Now what they have done, not only with the cancer, I have to say this, they are the neurotoxins actually. They're the neurotoxins, and they have been like the skims and all those they get these patients who have suffered with the neurotoxicities and other sort of allergies, but the patient itself doesn't know about all this until, like, the farmer has no idea that it has come from the mancozeb that he had actually applied with the hands. Or even the people, so there are direct links and there are indirect links. The direct links are the farmers who have directly applied those chemicals and pesticides on the plantations. But then there are indirect links, which is like, for example, if some farmer has applied a particular pesticide on a plantation and a child goes there in the same area after maybe a week or so later, and he just happens to play around, and we have seen infant mortalities going up because in past 2 decades we have seen a lot of pesticide being kind of sprayed upon. And there are like proper relationships, like the infant mortalities and the children have felt like seen the cancers coming up within them, which was not the case earlier time point when children never had seen. Like Kashmir was, I feel, in Kashmir, if somebody had cancer, it used to be like the top talk of Kashmir. Like in some area I have heard somebody has Kashmir, this somebody has cancer. But now every other household has a person who is inflicted with cancer, who is inflicted with some sort of a dreadful disease. Like, you just go around and ask women, how many of you have these hormonal imbalances? How many of you have thyroid issues? I myself am hypothyroidic. Like my mom is a cancer survivor. Every other family will have somebody who has seen or felt like cancer in some time point in time. But I'll tell you why. It's not only about the pesticides are being sprayed up only in the orchards, and if you eat an apple you will get the cancer. No, it's not like that. It is because the pesticide that you apply on the plants after it rains or where it will go eventually, when it has done its work, it is going to percolate down deep down in your water table. And that is exactly where our major source of cancer is coming from, because it is falling over the plantation. A farmer comes, he is cutting off the grass, and he is going to give it to who? To the cows, to the animals. They're feeding upon it, and the chemicals have gone in there. They're going to give us the stuff we eat, like hens are going to give us the eggs, chicken. So you just pick up any sort of an animal, we take something from them, and they are dependent on this sort of a vegetation. So
So it
whatever
is in
we
the
take,
food chain, basically.
it
We
is in the
have
food chain.
we have it in the food chain. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
We have it
So
in the food, we have
yes,
it in the water.
yes. So since we are in research and you are a research student yourself, so are you doing anything in future, like taking the initiative to and collaborations with different institutes? So you will be an entity, a private entity, collaborating with the government funds. So do you think that that is
I
possible, that
feel
you can work on this aspect of menace that we are going through?
the first step is awareness. We have to create awareness, because when you know, like some time back my father-in-law came and he told me, hey, it is cancerous cause because of this. What you're doing, organic farm, is really good. And actually he did it. Like few days back he came to visit me and he told me this. I said, that is nice, agar ye sopur mein bhi baat pata chal rahi hai. He said, yeah, people talking about it. तो ये तो इसी की वजह से हो रहा है, बिकॉज यहाँ पर पेस्टिसाइड आ रहा है, ये आ रहा है, वो आ रहा है. तो आई वाज लाइक वेरी हैप्पी. सो आई फील लाइक the first step has to be the awareness. And like you said, that if you are going to get involved with some sort of a like government organization, but I think that is not the right approach. The right approach is that we do not have to wait for a government entity to come to you and do something about it. Fine, they are already there, they have been there, and things have been done under their, like, things are going wrong and government is still there, right? If something would have been done, then probably we wouldn't be there, right? So I think the proper way would be if a lot of entrepreneurs come in, a lot of private organizations come in, and they take up this initiative very seriously. And this is very serious, because anything and everything you eat, you are what you eat. You are healthy because you're eating healthy. You are diseased, you have inflictions, it is because you carry a lot of chemicals in your body that are beyond the capacity of a liver to detoxify right now. So I think it's very, very, very important that we take up these issues. A lot of like small scale entrepreneurs come up and they kind of collaborate with each other. I'll give you an example. There is a girl. She has started this company called as Khalis Foods. And what she does is she has taken up this initiative that whatever non-vegetable, like non-vegetarian food is being sold out there and in the stores and all, it is also messed up. It is messed up to an extent that it might hamper in you with your iman, like halal versus non-halal, labeled halal when it is, like, I remember in South Korea I saw the pig meat being sold out like labeled halal. Fine. So yeah, it is true. So so what Ruxar does, she has taken up that initiative that I have to correct this. Now she does it for the non-vegetarian, I am doing it for the vegetables. We are trying to collaborate at several levels and see how good it'll come tomorrow, how good it'll do tomorrow to the society. So we have to bring in all of these small entrepreneurs, and we have to collaborate at our own level and start giving out awarenesses. I think first 5 years has to be awareness, and after that comes the point where we tell them, okay, now you are aware about the problem, this is what you do, this is how you're going to rectify the problem. So that is how we have to go about it. I honestly do not think that waiting for government and tagging along or piggy banking them, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, correct. I know that we have to start from our own, but I think you remember our last outreach program at IUST, and
Yeah.
they had set up that facility where they will see the adulteration in VAS one and then give certification. But I don't know how far they have succeeded in that. If the machines are
That is
still
the point. You
there.
have to stick to it.
Yeah.
You
So
have to stick to it. You have to keep going.
yeah, so that's what like I was thinking that have the machines been used or they are still lying there. So that is a different issue.
Issue.
And I have seen your exotic plants and vegetables and fruits. So I was amazed one time
Thank
seeing
you.
kiwi there. So, and I was so excited, and I called my family. I said, "Oh, Insha has this these." So I didn't know that kiwi will grow in Kashmir. So, what else are your plans for like organic farming, exotic plants and veggies? So, what are your future like? What are you going to introduce more in Kashmir?
The first, I think the most pressing issue right now is to make organic fertilizers and pesticides available. And it will do good to me as a farming initiator, but it will do good to somebody else who is willing. Because, see, now what has happened, Zaidaji, tons, like tens and tens of farmers have come up and they want to collaborate. Fine. So, we had introduced the sweet corn this year, and it was a big success. It
Yeah,
was
it was
really,
a big success.
I had
Yes, it
never
was a big
thought that people in Kashmir will eat sweet corn like that. Seriously. So, what happened? We get our sweet corn from Uri. Uri is a high altitude place. The sweetness index is very high because of the high altitude. So that farmer, he called me up. He said, "Do you want to collaborate for the next year also?" I said, "Yes, why not?" And then he said, "Okay, will you put HomeGreens, like, will you put it as an association with HomeGreens?" I said, "Why not?" And then he got so thrilled. He said, "I had put 12 canals last year. Why shouldn't I put 22? All 22 of mine are yours." I said, "Why not? Do it." So he is going to now get into the certifications with us, because our farm is right now in the conversion phase. It's when you start an organic farm, you don't get certifications overnight. You have to, like, the company comes in, Biocert is the one they are doing for us. They come up, they take the regular soil samples and the vegetable samples, and also the time period when they certify your farm is called the conversion period. So that guy's farm is now going to go into conversion period, and he will be a certified organic farmer with us. Now, second farmer was in Narkara area. Last year I told him, "Hey Khurshid bhai, you have been doing farming, I think, for ages and ages, right? आपके पास 60 कनाल जमीन है, मुझे एक कनाल आप दे दो." He said, "What you will do with it?" I said, "I have to do something. Do you agree?" He said, "Yeah, ले लो, क्या करना है?" मैंने बोला, "नहीं, मुझे कुछ नहीं करना. I want you to do something on it, but you have to follow what I tell you." He said, "Okay." And आप यकीन करें ज़ादा जी, by the end of the time, that one canal of the land, that gave it the money that actually was 10 or 20 times more than what he got from the rest of the area. And he regretted. He said, "Why did you ask me only one? I would have given you tens if you had asked me earlier." I said, "No, I had to show you something." And now, same Khurshid Bhai called me up 2 months back. He said, "Insha, I want to collaborate." I said, "On what?" He said, "I want you to take my land." I said, "Look, Khurshid Bhai, Narkara is commercial belt. आप इसको organic convert नहीं कर सकते हो, because तो ज़मीन ज़जमत. You have literally burnt it down. So अगर मुझे लग रहा है, if you start the conversion period now, your conversion period is going to last for another 2 decades, and that is a loss of time. Then he said, "What? अब मैं क्या करूं?" मैंने बोला, "आप देख लो, अगर कहीं इधर उधर होगा हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड, कहीं ऊपर एरियाज में, then it's fine. वहां पर आपको 3 साल लग जाएंगे, 4 साल लग जाएंगे." And he said, "Okay, ठीक है." He was very disappointed. And then एक महीने 2 महीने के बाद he calls me up. He came over here and I was just working in the greenhouse, and he said, "I have purchased 21 canals of land." Now, what do you say in your area? And I am going to collaborate. Tell me what you do. I said, you purchase land. He said, yeah. Well, okay, ठीक है. Now, BioCert जो है, they are going to come up and they're going to put up your farm जो है, वो आप conversion period में आ जाएगा फिर. Now he was like happy. Now we are planning up things with them. So I think for HomeGreens, it will be converted into more or less our R&D based farm, where we are designing the products for these farmers who are associating with us. And simultaneously, we are going to put up the trials on several plantations that are lost in Kashmir, but we need to revive them back. And also bring in some more interesting vegetables which were not grown here. So because the society is getting aware about a lot of stuff, so they want us to grow, like a lot of clients want us to grow celery for them, which was like, जब मैंने पहली साल celery grow करी थी, I fed it to cows. I swear I have to tell you this. I fed it to cows. And now but now the situation is like every single person wants celery. So celery is on for this year. We had these sweet sugar pumpkins this year. So a lot of new stuff will come up, but उनको standardize करना है, उनको acclimatize कराना है. So that will happen in our farm. But these farmers are going to go large scale on those setup trials, जिनकी already हमारे पास trials होंगी. एक तो ये हो गया कि organic fertilizers and pesticides. And second, the biggest one is have our own seed bank. कश्मीर में सबसे बड़ा problem है, we have internet cut off रहता है. And I mean, our entire year depends on seed. And when we order it, sometimes कभी कभार ना 1 महीना लग जाता है, 2 महीने, 2 महीने, 3 महीने. So that just lets go of our growing season. So it is very essential to have the seed bank with us. So we are creating our very own Kashmir based seed bank, जिसमें हम लोग quality of the seed, which is like we are keeping it pure lines. We are not creating hybrids and all. So everything will be heirloom to Kashmir and some of the exotics which will come here, and they will eventually become the heirlooms. So more or less the seed bank is second one. And dheere dheere karke, we are also coming up with the products, food products, which will be put out there in the market, inshallah.
Yeah, interesting. So I was just remembering sending you a link about I think that was northeastern Indian state who had got the first organic certification from EU, and I saw that it was so difficult to get that certification, and I think those were the flowers. Yeah, those were only the flowers. So inshallah, we wish you best. Yeah.
Inshallah.
So going forward, like with your kids and with the family life, and now this farming, how do you cope up? So that was the next common question which we got from the audience, that how does she have so much of energy to do all this stuff and then initiating it also?
I have a very, very, very strong support system. My family is everything right now. Also, like it has been everything. But right now, for establishing HomeGreens, I sometimes stay awake till 3 or 4 o'clock in the night. And at that point in time, I have got a 9-month-old new daughter, and I have a 5-year-old son. So yeah, but first I have to say about my in-laws, they have been totally supportive of this idea. Like they never even tell me, Insha, when I at times it happens for hours.
Yes.
No. So isme just a second. I'm so sorry.
This is what we were talking about. So she is multitasking. You are multitasking right now also.
I am still, yeah.
Yeah, that's
what. Yeah, but it's like I have a great family support. They take care of kids also at times. But I think I've learned how, like, sometimes kabhi kabar work needs a lot of time, and I just let go of them. Like, okay, no, you have to take care of them. It's your job right now. And they would never say no. So,
And so the next common thing was like what are the career options? Like you know now research, and now you are an independent entrepreneur. So is it a difficult choice for people in Kashmir to go to the unconventional what professional professions, I
no,
mean to say?
absolutely
So
not.
is it like it's not only, but we have seen a lot of success stories, but we want through this platform to know that doctor, engineer, law, and other things are not only options for
Options. Yes.
Kashmiris, because they
Yes,
have that
yes, yes.
mindset that okay, government job and then a certificate, so this is our future and our future is secure. But I don't think that that mindset is good for a society, and we need to have better options than that. So was it a difficult choice, and what will be your message to the young generation, the budding scientists, that they don't have to go for the conventional professions?
Zadaji, this is such a difficult question for me to answer, but because I can talk for hours and hours together on this issue, because this is such an important question. I'll tell you this. In Kashmir, the biggest issue is that people think what has worked for you will work for me also. Fine. That is why everybody follows the trends. The trend was MBBS. Everybody ran into MBBS without understanding whether I want to become a doctor or not. No, I mean, they used to get to know that he or she wants to become a doctor because their parents said so.
Correct.
Fine.
Yeah.
And somebody wants to become an engineer not because they wanted, but because the parents had said, okay, no, this is the trend. Then came the trend of IAS. Then came the trend of, right now is the trend of PhDs. But I'll have to tell you this. I think it would be better. And because of this issue, we have ran into a biggest problem in Kashmir. We have a professional inequality. We have a very uh, it's a professional imbalance, I would say. Everybody follows the trend, and that is why in a particular age group you see that plateau. Like if you go at the bell curve, you see the maximum center point of the bell curve belonging to one sort of a profession. There is no diversity in professions, and that is why our society is kind of demolishing in that front. We do not have people who are potters. Pottery has never seen the gradual, how do I say, there is nothing being done in that front. So that is why if you go back, you will see even the potters today, they make the bartan which are like even twisted even now, because nobody has innovated anything in that, right? So you do not see any sort of innovation in pottery, let us say. You do not see any innovation in case of farming. You do not see any sort of innovation in basket weaving. You do not see any sort of innovation in ceramic pottery. We had all of that intrinsic in our system. We had like carpet weaving. You do not see innovation in the carpets. You remember you had shared sometime back on the Facebook how that particular carpet guy had created that illusion, right?
Yeah.
My mind was like,
Yes.
wow, that sort of work, that is amazing. So they see the progress in their work because every generation has a new person coming in and putting in new ideas. But what is
So
problem in
do
Kashmir?
you think that we are lacking the critical thinkers in Kashmir? Like we are not lacking, but we are not getting opportunities
we
to showcase
we
our critical thinking, because
we
that's
are
what
lacking
I think
teachers.
that
We
yeah.
are lacking
That's
proper
what
teachers.
that's what I think. If we lose critical thinkers in one generation, then the future generations also will not have that thing in them. So
Independent, yeah.
yeah, like critical thinking is one of the basis for evolution, I mean to say.
See,
So
I would put it in this way. I want a teacher. We have teachers, right? But we don't want a regular teacher. I don't want a teacher to tell my son, "Hey, Aiden, I feel you. Tell me what you're good in." I think I would be very happy if my teacher analyzes my son and says maybe after a year, "Hey, Aiden, I think you're very good in this. Tell me how can I help you in this? Tell me, how do I magnify your interest in it? How can I try to bring the best out of it?" So I need that kind of a teacher in his life. Likewise, we have doctors everywhere here in Kashmir, but we do not need a regular doctor. We need skilled doctors. Like you have seen House, we need houses here, like Greg House, right? So we need those sort of doctors here who would have the critical thinking capacity, who would understand maybe just by the symptoms of a disease. Okay, you're suffering, possibly you're suffering from this and that. Maybe yes, you need to go for analysis, but I think my mind tells me this is the issue. So we need critical thinkers, like you said. We need efficient support system for our children to let them, like, I have to. So I was thinking some time back that when was it that I developed love for plants? I was. It was quite early when I was just a kid. My father even once asked me, "What do you like? What do you like?" I said, I feel very dreaded. मुझे even आज भी याद है. I was like a very small girl then. And I said, I think I feel very dreaded with an idea कि अगर ये सब पेड़ कट गए हमारे पास ऑक्सीजन खत्म हो जाएगा. Like how will we breathe in? Like in my mind I thought oxygen is going to go off anytime now. So I wanted to do afforestation. That is the new word I had learned then. I was very little then. But then I was thinking why I never went ahead with, like, that was my interest. My interest probably was to nurture the plants. Then why I never thought, why I went into research and then again had to come back here, right? Because my teachers never ever understood that this girl has the capacity to do something with plants. And they would have understood, but they never appreciated. Fine. So we want
Yeah,
people who would understand early on.
correct. So, with that thing in mind, do you think JK scientists can play a pivotal role or very important role? Like we are trying to create awareness by these programs, and by outreach programs, we are telling them about research. But how can, and then the youth program we have? So we are going back to schools because masters, PhDs, and bachelors, they have that mind that they can choose their careers and they can think what is good for them. But we have taken this program. We will initiate critical thinking in like high school kids and then higher secondary ones. So, what else do you think can JKS platform play a role in awareness programs and greater, like what do you think our goals should be towards the betterment of our society?
I think what we have to do, first of all, you asked me, can JKS do something about it? Yes, we can do something about it. The reason being that we are the generation now who can do something. Like we have seen things in our lives. We have been to places. We have got exposed to things that our parents probably were not. And I do not like demean them in that way. No, no, that's not the situation. The situation in our case was different, but we have learned a few things. So the responsibility is upon us, honestly. So we can do a lot of things. Secondly, you asked me what? The first thing JK scientist has to kind of make every single person here understand is what has worked for somebody else may not work for you. So do not waste your time. Do not
Correct.
waste your years and years and years of time into gaining something which is just an illusion in your mind, and you still won't reach there where you see yourself, because that is actually not your interest. It is something that society has put in your mind that it is your interest, but it is not your interest. So I think JKS can try to do something in that front, that we make people understand their own, what their hearts are telling them. So everybody has an inclination to do something good. So JKS can assist people in understanding those delicate things. Maybe maybe we just have to see the hint. For example, I told you, somebody would have, if somebody would have seen, okay, this girl wants to do afforestation, and probably we, JKS has got the capacity to see that a girl wants to do afforestation. Probably she can turn it into an entrepreneurship tomorrow. So I think on that front, if we are able to even change the 10 people's minds, I think that will be a huge thing, because those 10, it's going to create a ripple effect. Those 10 will become 20, those will become 40, they'll become 80. So I think we have the capacity to teach people that you just have to follow what your heart tells you, and do not worry about whether you will be accepted in the society. No, 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 because already, trust me, there is a proper imbalance in the society, and people need those different aspects now. So you just have to say, hey, listen, I am trying to do this. There are people who are going to welcome you now, because there is a proper lack. There is a disparity already out there in the society. So we can do a lot about that, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Insha. Do we have any questions other than what I have already covered? So I think we are over time, 1 minute, but we can go a little bit further. Saima, do you have any questions?
Yes, actually, we have a few. And first of all, Insha, thank you for such an enlightening talk. I hope that, inshallah, most of the people who have heard this will take some sort of, inspiration from it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so, coming to the questions, we have question from Dr. Saeed Mubarak Hussain.
Yes.
And this is about the youth of Kashmir. Actually, he has asked a lot of questions. And so we will be taking, we'll see if the time allows. So first is what is your advice to the youth who want to establish business locally?
Yeah.
How has your scientific approach helped establish HomeGreens?
Mm.
And then is, don't you think hundreds or thousands of brick kilns in Badgam
Oh
are
my
having
God.
their impact on the environment and agriculture? How
Yeah,
do we
yeah,
deal
yeah.
with this challenging issue? Since Kashmir imports lamb, do you feel sheep and dairy farming has potential in Kashmir? And what is
Yes.
your advice to the Kashmiri women students or scientists? What are the challenges they face in a day to day life or might face outside of Kashmir when in training, and how to overcome them?
Yes, yes. So the first question is about the new entrepreneurs, right? Uh, okay. Whenever you plan for an entrepreneurship here, always have a backdoor, safe space for for your work. What I mean by backdoor is this. I'll give you an example. The only work, the only like how do I say, a setup or a venture that works in case of hartals, in case of the crisis in Kashmir. Regular we say like crisis. Let me use just a single word for it, like crisis in Kashmir, is department stores. How do they work then? They do not have the front doors always open. They keep it closed. They even government aake laga deti hai whatever they have to do on the door, right? But they always have a back door open for them. Every single person enters through that back door and then gets everything done there, and they thrive. They are thriving like anything. So always think of a backdoor for your safe backdoor for your venture. You always have, like, why am I saying this? Because we started in 2018 September, and ever since we've had two crises, and every single time we went back to zero and we started from zero. Fine. But now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find that backdoor for my venture, that even if in the calamity is there, I need to have a very safe option available such that my stuff doesn't plummet. Like in we had a huge crisis in COVID, right? But you have to honestly believe me, our work expanded 5 or 10 times more in this year. I have not had proper good sleep this year because we work days and nights together. So you need to find that back door for your venture. that even if the crisis comes in, you should not plummet back to zero. You should be able to carry forward even in that crisis. So it is your responsibility to find that back door. Like for me, it would be something. For you, it would be something else. So that is the straightforward answer for you. And second question was, Saima?
Women scientists or women researchers in Kashmir. What is your advice to them?
I seriously, I think you will not agree with me because it's JK scientists, right? Everybody is looking for postdoctorates, right?
No. We are not. No,
Yeah, but
that's what we have to change the thinking that science
yeah,
is not the only option. And yeah,
I just have only one advice. I think it does not apply to the people, to the scientists from Kashmir already established, because the kind of struggles you guys have gone through, we have not gone through those struggles, and we cannot even imagine ourselves in those circumstances, right? So but now, right now, I have to tell you this, that do not follow them, because the situation then and situation now is different. Then the only possibility for them was to actually scoot out of Kashmir, get established, and establish themselves there, and then do something good for our Kashmir from there. And now they're in a stage where they cannot come back, and we have to understand it. But it really does not apply to you. You really have gained an experience in research, and right now it is, the society is actually ready for you to take up any sort of an initiative. There are 10 problems out there in society, pick up one. Like 10 PhDs, follow that one problem, you're going to solve it. We have sanitation issues in Kashmir, right? So why not an entrepreneur come up tomorrow and they come up with like a privatized sanitation department? Why wouldn't that be like possible tomorrow? So I feel like then it comes the social stigma. Yes, you really have to fight the stigma out. Not everybody can be Mubarak Bhai today, who would be having billions and billions of grants, right? So but I have to honestly tell, he has worked for almost 15 years up, like to be in that state, right? So I think for every other PhD student, it's better that they find their own voice, they figure out their problems, set up the ventures here in Kashmir. That is how they're going to help themselves, and that is how they're going to stay sane in their mind. Because I know my husband is one of them. I think the scientists established outside, they have everything, but they have everything at the wrong place. I just wish, and they wish they had everything at the right place.
correct.
I think they
Yeah,
would even want to have that cup of noon chai. They sometimes
yeah.
crave for that.
Yeah. There are a lot of opportunities, and if we get out of the mindset of these professions, the conventional professions, and if we take any kind of job, like we are lagging in every and each and every field in Kashmir. We see like
Every.
administration, then if we see our own life, so we are lagging in each and every aspect. So if the youth take up just not a full-fledged crisis, but a little bit of them, so I think they will have a better chance to survive and be happy at the place where
Yes,
they are.
yes,
They are.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So thank you so much, Insha. Saima,
Thank
back
you
to
so
you.
much.
Insha, the other thing was about brick kilns in Badgam.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of avoiding the question. Yeah, that is not a bricklin, normal bricklin. There is a bricklin related mafia running in Kashmir. You have to know this. Like a person can bribe, like they're not licensed to set up bricklins, but they kind of have their own back doors. They go to the back doors and they get things done there. Pay lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of money. In fact, it may be crores actually, but you have to see this. that if you are the person who's going to fight it out, you're going to run into troubles. You're going to run into huge, massive troubles here in Kashmir, because somehow people are high up in hierarchy, professional hierarchy, I have to say. So they kind of support it because they are getting incentivized in it. So it is a mafia running here. And I really wish all of us luck to kind of that maybe may Allah give us the time to kind of fight it out. So, and we need a proper line of action against it. I don't think a very simple man can outdo them right now. It's you know, I mean, you understand what mafia means. It is hell scary out there. You can, in
Okay,
fact, like
so,
maybe lose your life.
well, let's hope in future, inshallah, things will turn for good.
Inshallah, inshallah.
We have another question from Azan Mustafa. He's saying, what is your advice to the farmers who want to do organic farming but their land is polluted badly with chemicals? How much will it take them to have first organic crop? And also, would it be possible to have 100% organic crop here when everything is polluted?
Like I think I have already discussed with Zaidaji about it, that there is a phase called as convergent phase. Even our farm is right now in the convergent phase. So what happens when you start the organic farming, you simply stop using any sort of harmful chemicals and pesticides. Fine. So then you let whatever is there in the soil that starts degrading, that starts seeping through. Unfortunately, it goes in your water, but that is how it happens. And dhire dhire karke your microbial activity is regained in the soil, which is actually lost when you apply so much of, you kind of burn your soil and no microbes are there. And microbes are essential for your plants over there. So धीरे धीरे करके microbes build up हो जाते हैं inside of your soil. So that conversion period may vary. For example, in our case, it will be very small because we already have been doing organic farming. बहुत ही minor infusions हो जाते थे, sprays हो जाते होंगे, but I know कि वहाँ पर जो है उसमें conversion period would be not more than 2 years. But then there are commercial sites. For example, here Narkara area in Badgam. It is the vegetable belt in Kashmir. I have to tell you this, but it's very important. But I shouldn't say this, but I have to. I will inform you how it is done. It has come from a source who is in Narkara. He said कि एक बार हमारा pest इतना ज़्यादा infestation हो गया. Tim Chitravan, how do they do it is like they cut those channels and then they flow those channels into their fields. And he said कि हमारा infestation जो है रुका ही नहीं. What we did, he was telling it very normally to me, like it wouldn't do anything, but I had simply had a heart attack. And then he said, हम लोगों ने क्या किया? Astud dar, astun तोcht abas maz drayit yiti os traun to sugo it flooded out our land. And that is how we kind of protected our crop. And then I said, and then you protected your crop and you fed entire Kashmir with it. He said, yes. So that is how proudly they would say that they protected their crop, but it is loaded with stuff that is going to mess up with your metabolism. So now wahi farmer aake mujhe bolega ki how long it is going to take. It is going to take his entire life in the conversion period. So the answer to this question is it depends how much a pesticide has already gone, and there are certified companies like Biocert is one of the companies. They can tell you how long they're going to take the samples, they're going to analyze the entire report, and they're going to tell you okay tentatively इसमें 3 साल लग सकते हैं, 4 साल लग सकते हैं, 5 साल लग सकते हैं conversion होने में into the certified organics one. But I in case of the areas like Srinagar और इसके इर्द-गिर्द वाले area में I don't think organic will be feasible anytime soon.
Okay, so we have another question. This is from Munaza, and she's asking, would you please state as like you have been to places internationally. There's a concept of bioorganic supermarkets. Do you see the potential of this idea here, keeping
Yes,
in view
yes,
the
yes.
health issues otherwise related to unhealthy ones, and for people who want to balance their life with organic products?
Yes, yes. So, how Home Greens is coming up with something called the farmers market. So outside, it is called as farmers market. But there they display things apart from vegetables. There is like it's like they consider everything else. Like for example, carpentry also. Carpenters also come up and they showcase their stuff, and people come and buy. But we are going to install a farmers market soon, inshallah, at locations where proper producers will be available maybe once a week, and people can come, they can take up the produce from there, sufficient for that particular week. What else we as Home Greens are doing is we are standardizing techniques to store our foods, whether it is dehydrated foods or it is to freeze the food. So we are going to take another, I think, 2 or 3 years in checking up, like kind of standardizing those techniques. We have standardized already for some of the crops, but still we need to standardize more. So once that those setups are ready, I think it will be beneficial for the clients to even, like, you can even store for a year. So storing organic food for a year would be quite beneficial, because whenever the organic crops are ready, you can harvest, you can store, and you are at your will to use them anytime you want.
Okay, so we have another question from Dr. Khalid Gul.
Ji.
His question is, what are the farmers gonna do and get information from? Because our own institutions like SCOST, they
Mhm.
recommend over say 10 to 13 sprays of fungicides and pesticides on apple trees.
Yeah. That is what is unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate, but that is the how the situation is. The farmers have to get very efficient now. Now, the answer, straight answer to Khalid Bhai right now is we need young generation of farmers. We need educated farmers. We need farmers who are going to go back maybe in the evening. They sit and they go to the articles and read about it. When I was doing my reading, I seriously was dreaded even to look at the pathologies that were associated with pesticides. And whenever I have to implement anything in my farm, I always have that thing in my mind. Oh no, mancozeb has been associated. And there is another problem in Kashmir. Pesticides do not come in like only in pesticides. There are adulterations in pesticides. So it is double negative, double no no. There is mancozeb is there, Captain is there. Mancozeb is the fungicide. Captain is another thing that they use for the apples. 36.6% adulteration, as I remember vaguely. I think 36.6% adulterations have been seen. There are pesticides that come in adulterated to 60%. So 60% of the material is adulterated in them, and those articles are out there. Cost articles are out there. You would tell me whether there is a problem from the department side. No, I don't feel that. The answer is actually the guys who sell these products, when they get the information that inspector is going to come and visit your facility, at that point in time they get that information a priori. So it's not a sudden inspection, it is like informed inspection. And whatever spurious is out there, that is hidden, that is put in the back doors. And whatever is 100% authentic, they put it out there, and that is how they're not caught. So it is very grave, because now you are not only having a potential carcinogen, but you are having a definite carcinogen, because you don't know what sort of adulteration is there. I was just reading some time back that a spice company was shut down in Lucknow. They had really used the donkey poop adulteration in some of the spices. Can you just believe that? So, but this is the reality. I have to tell these stupid, silly things right now, because we are eating those spices every now and then. So it is really better for next generation farmers to come in, for educated farmers to come in, because 60-year-old farmer cannot do anything now. He already has responsibility of a family. He wouldn't just mind, like he would say, Insha, okay, you keep your articles with you. I'm done with my 50 rupees right now. So that is how I think I wish that new farmers come in, like our generation farmers come in.
So we have another question from Asia, and I think it's a
Hmm.
very interesting question. She's stating that what is your take on the apiculture, honeybee culture, together
Yeah.
with the farming, because the two are related, because the bees are dependent on the nectar. So it actually will give a better quality of honey.
Yes. Uh, there is a concept of organic honey, um, but it's too actually too difficult because you don't know where the honeybee has been and what sort of a flower it has sat on and taken the nectar from. So in our case, I need honeybees real bad because there are some of the plants that we need the cross fertilization in, and bees are the best pollinators. So we are going to install some of these colonies in our farm. But for the honey, for the production of the honey, I do not think right now we are up for it because our facility is not such contained, because I don't know where they're going to wander to. But maybe 5 years or 6 years down the lane, when we have a proper setup for it, maybe we need to think about a proper different setup, maybe high up in the mountains, like maybe somewhere around Pahalgam se bhi upar, somewhere around in Uri, or somewhere where the adulteration hasn't been so intense. There we can set up our structures for the honey production. But not right now. Right now we do not. I don't think so I'll be able to make organic honey.
So
But it
recently,
would be, it would be an advice to youth out there. It's a wonderful venture. If anybody wants
Mhm.
to invest into it, wonderful. If you have a space, or even you think of a space somewhere high up in the mountains, go about it. Just go and install. It's one of the best thing you can do.
I think recently I came across a video of Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
They had those collection of different kinds of honey. Like,
Yeah.
do you want the one from the chamomile, and do you want the one from, say, petunia flowers?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it has a very good market here in Kashmir if it's organic.
Very, very, very. And people are, have you gone through the recent that gapla, big gapla, honey gapla?
Yes.
Even
Yes, the Dabur and
the big guys,
Patanjali. Yeah,
big
yes.
guns are brought down, right?
It's
Yeah.
adulterated, and it's like now they are putting some Chinese made sugars which are not coming up into HPLC, and
Tests and all.
like, yeah. So
So much work to adulterate. Like I
adulterated
think,
like
right,
honey.
right.
It was like mind blowing for me that how can they put something in honey, like honey is honey, sugar, okay, and then they can put 50% of sugar, okay, that's fine, but then in that sugar also they are putting something which is not
It's not
being
sugar.
picked up by the
Exactly.
machine. So these things will happen, and we have to take initiative. And the advantage which we have in Kashmir is basically we are a closed society. So if we would not have indulged into these things, we could have been pure in every form. But unfortunately, things have happened, and business economy and all those things, and we
It
forget
is, it is, it
about
is,
our health. So it has
it is
seeped in this.
commercialization. It's
So,
money mongering.
but
You want to earn a lot of money, you're going to go to lengths. But if you
and
are going to
but
work for a
but
cause,
yeah, but the mindset about this also has to change, that it's not the apple which we should be like considered like as an adulter. No, it's the tree, it's the soil which we have to take into consideration. And then if that mindset is there, that no, we will wash the apple and it will go away, no, you have to
no, no,
think
no,
about
no,
the
it
root
does
cause,
not. It
the
does
root
not. That is the
cause.
biggest,
Yeah,
that is the biggest issue because like
correct.
they
Yeah,
spray and after 3 days later, they just pluck it and they start eating. That
yes,
is not really true. It stays within the tissue.
yes. Okay, Simon, can we wind up?
Yes,
Yeah.
so I'll taking one last question.
Yeah, sure. No issues,
Yeah,
please.
because it will go on and on.
It
I
will
know.
be like
It's
never
such an
ending discussion,
interesting.
like I said.
It's such an interesting topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is from Dr. Ahsanul Qureshi. He's
Anji.
asking, do you think that the organic manure or compost is enough? How do you manage? And also, there is this question that do you think that pure organic farming can ensure food security in terms of affordable price?
Okay, regarding Asan Bhai's question, okay, this vermicompost and all. Right now, we are using commercial grade from Tata Industries. It's a very good one, but we are working on a facility to create our own vermicompost. So that is going to start from this year, inshallah. So we'll have the production in our own farm, but there is already vermicompost happening in Kashmir in several farms. Actually, they are kind of making and then they are giving them to anybody whosoever wants it. But the only issue with them though is that they have not read about it properly. They have learned it through the department, but they have not read about it. They are loaded with weed seeds. So a lot of weed seeds are there, and when you use them in your, they're good for the trees, because already weeds, so many weeds are around your apple trees. Nothing, that weed is going to do nothing to a big tree, right? But for the agricultural perspective, they do create a mess in our case. So I do not recommend taking from the local right now. But what I recommend is to those vermicompost guys is to sterilize your vermicompost. You just have to get your vermicompost off the weed seeds, such that when somebody takes it, they do not face this issue in their own cultivation. So in our case, we are thinking of putting up a good facility where we are going to sterilize also our vermicompost, and it'll be initially for the farm, and later on it can be scaled up for the commercial purposes. And regarding the second question, Saima, it was affordability of the organic and how it is going to kind of uh,
Provide food
whether
security.
provide food security. Food security, actually, see, this is where the main discussion comes in USA right now. I was telling Zadaji the same question, same problem. So these commercial organic farming is not actually the way to go about it. What we need is, we do not want one big entity grow one crop, and that is going to, because the production is already very less in organic farming. The production is less by 30, 40, or 50% in the crops. So in order to maintain the food security, you're going to need much more land, or maybe use a vertical setup, use a three-dimensional setup, right? Two-dimensional, no, three-dimensional in this case, yes. So but for us, I would have to tell this, for me, what I do is, we use the succession cropping system. In succession cropping is, I target 50 families, and I know what those 50 families want me to grow for them, and accordingly I divide my land and I plan for the succession crops. That is going to give the food security to only 50 families. But if another farm comes up, likewise, we need to install multiple small scale farms who do the succession cropping. And each farm will make sure that they feed 100 families in that season. Nobody is competing the other person, because everybody's hand is going to be full. Everybody's time is going to be full. Nobody is going to run into the issue, oh, mera saman nahi bik raha, because already the people are out there who they are going to buy from you. But you do not have to put 10 canals in one cultivation. You have to plan succession cropping. You have to plan multiple crops in that season. So that is how small scale farms work. And there are multiple small scale farms out there in the US, UK also, and they're doing wonderful job. They are bringing in biodiversity. They are bringing in like a proper, like मुझे लगता है कि I think I was telling somebody some time back कि I think हर एक मोहल्ले में ना एक farm होना चाहिए. That farm feeds that entire mohalla. So it's not possible here, but I think still uh, these families over here can do one thing, that they can associate themselves with a particular farm. We had started a program called as Community Supported Agriculture, CSA. In CSA, people, the families can associate a particular farm weekly, and weekly it's the responsibility of that farm to kind of send them a basket of the vegetables and whatever things are available in the farm, that will be sent in that basket, and they have to subscribe for that service for a month. And I think this kind of an approach leaves it open for multiple other farmers to set up. So it is kind of going to increase the venture avenues for others also, and producibility, and also I think food security will be dealt in that manner.
Okay, so that will be all, because we do have a lot of questions, but unfortunately we don't have time. Thank you so much, Insha.
They can in fact contact us on HomeGreens. We run an Instagram account, and we do have our website coming up. And by the time our website is operational, you can access, or you can reach out to us through emails, through Instagram, through Facebook, through WhatsApp also. So anybody who wants any sort of a help or any sort of information, we are open for anything.
Okay, thank you so much, Insha. Thank you so much for giving us time and being so patient with us.
No, thank you so much. This was, I think, the most favorite session for me. I love JK Scientist. I have got like very good memories of it.
We all do.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Dr. Zaida, for taking time on a Sunday morning, getting up so early for us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Khalid Gul, for being our technical support. And thank you to the participants on Zoom and on the Facebook Live. Thank you so much.
Welcome.